Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing NASCAR My Driver Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day today. We have some Truck Series, Xfinity, and Cup Series action coming your way. But first, well, we have announcements on the way in this portion of the season as we close in towards the midway point, and we start things off with a big one. 2014 Cup Series champion Kevin Harvick announced this week that this will be his final season in the NASCAR Cup Series. Quote, "It's time for me to move on and enjoy things away from racing," said Harvick. Stewart-Haas Racing will now have 2 open seats at the end of the season. As you guys know, Almirola already retiring as well. So there you have it, Kevin Harvick retiring from Cup Series competition at the conclusion of this series. Who will replace him? That's the big question. You'll have to wait and see. Here, as you see in the Truck Series at Bristol Motor Speedway, McKay Seals would pick up the victory over Jason Smith in the 51. Matt Kraft and Eddie Shearer, Ben Rhodes rounded out the top of 5 here as we would jump through into some Xfinity Series action from Richmond Raceway now, as Matt O'Brien was leading for Joe Gibbs Racing here, looking to pick up his first win in the Xfinity Series as he would lead out of turn 4. Sure enough, the rookie Matt O'Brien for Joe Gibbs Racing and the Interstate Batteries Toyota Supra picks up the win there over Carson Hocevar, Josh Berry, Allgaier, rookie of Davin Cornelius, Joey Stone up there in the top 10 as well. As I will have some Xfinity and Truck Series point updates on the way soon here in the coming episodes now as we jump through into the Cup Series action for myself here with a brand new paint scheme on the car made by my friend of RJ here, McDonald's paint scheme. You'll get a good look at it here in a few moments time. But qualifying, well, it was rough to say the least. I qualified dead last. Yes, you heard that correctly. I qualified dead last here. It felt like NASCAR Heat 5 again all of a sudden. I could not qualify to save my life. So we had our work cut out for us for these 70 laps around Kansas Speedway, with stage 1 being about 15 laps, and then stage 2 that will come to a conclusion about lap 35 here. Now as we look at the current top 8 in points here, ignore the top where it says playoff standings. I am stupid and forgot to change that. There's no playoffs in this series, at least for this season. Joey Logano though leads the points with 131, 3 points over Kyle Larson, 13 over Davison. Suarez up there in the top 5, 18 back. Kyle Busch 20 back. Rookie of Cozy and Centric up there in the mix as well. And Chase Elliott 8th place, 30 points out. Kevin Harvick, he's retiring at the end of the season. His best finish this season so far in his final season is only 12th place. That actually came in the last episode. So Harvick, he's got some work to do here, and obviously right now not looking like he's going to be a favorite to win a championship here in his final season now. As Stewart-Haas Racing, like I said, they have 2 open seats available now at the conclusion of this season, but that might not be it for the news on Stewart-Haas Racing here, as you'll find out in the closing or coming episodes very, very soon, maybe as soon as Long Beach now, as we are though ready to get this race underway. 70 laps around Kansas. Kyle Busch last episode's winner from Dover leads the way down into turn 1 here for stage 1. As you guys know, with this point format, stage winner is the only driver that gets points, and that is 5 bonus points to the stage winner of stage 1 and 2. Second place on back gets absolutely nothing. If you want to remember how the rest of the point system works, just make sure to go and look at the off-season video. We run through exactly how that how the points are handed out through all of the positions, with 25th on up towards first place. As guys on 26 on down, they get 0 points, similar to the Formula 1 style, of course, there, with only the top 10 getting points in F1. But for myself here in our McDonald's Chevrolet Camaro, not the traction Camaro today, of course, that will be back here in the probably next episode, in the NZXT Camaro as well, and the camping world. We got so many paint schemes to use, and there's going to be more on the way, so I can't wait for you guys to see that now. As you can see, 3 wide with Cody Ware, Brad Keselowski, as well as Chase Elliott through 3 and 4. Cody Ware, Rick Ware Racing in general having a strong season, with Davison in the mix right now for the championship. Won the Daytona 500. Cody Ware is running well. David Chodos in his 2nd season in the Cup Series competition. He's been running strong as well here. As you can see, myself getting a big run of momentum down into turn 1. We pass about 4 or 5 cars right there, including Todd Gilliland and our Xfinity former teammate and rival of Jay Cook, who would actually pass me back though through turns 1 and 2. I was trying to make the outside work, but the inside was just so much faster at this point compared to the AI. Now, when you're actually racing against real racers on iRacing, you want to be up on the top, but here I was finding that the top just wasn't working here now, as we're actually going to go 4 wide through the middle. A little bit of contact right there with Jay Cook now as we went down into turn 1 side by side with Michael Cozy Jr., who's been so strong so far this season in the Cup Series as a rookie now, as he was actually leading the standings recently. But of course, last episode didn't go how he would have hoped it would have here. But right now, as you can see, he's not in the position where he wants to be so far in Kansas either. We're coming off of our first ever top 5 in the Cup Series actually in that last episode, and actually 2 top 10s in a row. So going into Spa, we had never finished in the top 10 here in the Cup Series, but we were able to do that, and then we backed it up with another top 10 and, like I said, a top 5 for the first time in Dover. So trying to build off of that momentum, but things weren't looking necessarily in our favor here now. As you can see, it's taken me a little bit to work my way through traffic. You see Kevin Harvick right now running up in 2nd place. So we were talking about Harvick's best finish this season so far was in the last episode in Dover of 12th. Well, here he is right now backing that up with a 2nd place run as we come straight through to the final lap of stage 1. We really didn't get anywhere, but we make a pass here on Jeff Fabiano for Fabiano Racing in that number 27 car, and we gain 1 spot that way up to 26th place here on just this final lap of stage 1. And Kyle Busch picking up right where he left off in Dover. He will come through to win stage 1 over Kevin Harvick. So 5 points to Kyle Busch, 0 to Harvick on back through Cody Ware, Kyle Larson, Logano, Hamlin, etc. now, as we would be setting up for a pit stop here at the conclusion of stage 1. I wanted some adjustments to the car, but you can see that everybody in front of us stays out, and just Jeff Fabiano behind us stays out, and everybody else comes in. So we were lining up in a good position here for this restart. I was pretty confident now that we could use these fresh tires to our advantage, and we've used this strategy a few times so far this season to kind of get us some track position in stage 2 now, as stage 2 would get underway with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Cody Ware, Larson, and Logano, your top 5 as they head down towards turn 1 now. As we know, final season likely of these Generation 6 Cup cars in this iRacing career mode. Hopefully, iRacing announces next-gen AI coming to the service very soon, so that way we can expand into the next-gen car for next season, because as fun as these Gen 6 cars are and as good as they look, I don't want to run another season of Gen 6 if I don't have to, so we're hoping that the next-gen AI are announced soon before this season comes to a conclusion. We still got a long way to go, but it's a little bit disappointing because I could be cranking out these episodes really quick, but I can't because I want that next gen AI to come out, and I don't want to start that next season until that happens, but we don't know when that is going to happen. But you can already see I am myself making up a lot of ground here on these opening laps of stage 2. Michael Cozy Jr. actually contact in the background with the 16 of Justin Haley. He gets put into the outside wall, damage on both sides of the car again, just like last episode, and that's going to affect his car there, and these last 2 races not going how Michael Cozy Jr. had anticipated. So far though, for myself here in stage 2, things are going pretty well. I am on the move here, threading the needle between Corey LaJoie as well as that outside wall. You can see Kevin Harvick though, on the other hand, he has dropped outside of the top 10, outside of the top 15 even there, so not what the 2014 Cup Series champion is looking for. You can see myself getting sideways right there through 3 and 4, but we got past that 4 of Kevin Harvick, got to the back of Alex Bowman here. We're actually going to make it 3 wide with Alex Bowman. We had that run-in earlier in the season with him at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, but we continue side by side with him, and now 3 wide with his teammate of William Byron as we dive down into turn 3 now, as we do have a Trackhouse Racing an alliance with Hendrick Motorsports, and hopefully over the course of the season will allow us to get stronger and stronger there now, as Hendrick Motorsports has had a decent start to the season with Kyle Larson going to victory lane 2 times, actually the most wins of anybody so far this season. But Larson does not lead the standings. It's all about consistency here throughout this 25 race championship with no playoff format. You got to be consistent. You can win as many races as you want, but if you're not consistent in the in-betweens, you're not going to win a championship here now, as you continue to watch us move forward now in these closing laps, less than 10 laps to go at this point in stage 2 now, to the outside of that number 51 of Cody Ware here, as we're closing in towards the top 5 in this second stage. But obviously 5th place is not going to give us anything, but still it would be a nice end result in stage 2, and that would set us up well for the pit stop as well for the start of stage 3 to the inside of Kyle Larson, and into 4th place we go. And as soon as I got to 4th, it was like I dropped off a cliff because I went nowhere, and Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, they all drove away, but I was able to at least manage a gap to 5th place of Cody Ware there on back. So Kyle Busch would come through to sweep the first two stages, another 5 points to Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, second and third, as you can actually see Chase Elliott there on the pit lane with some damage on the final lap of this stage. Not going to be good for Elliott right now, who's in the top 10 in the standings, but this is going to be big for his race and probably take him multiple laps down. To look at what happened, contact actually with Aric Almirola, putting him into the outside wall, and obviously, as you can imagine, Elliott not happy over the radio.
What the is he doing, man?
Not happy at all. You hear Chase Elliott's radio communications there after the contact with Almirola that sent him into the outside wall. Unfortunately, I actually had a bit of a slow pit stop here, so we found ourselves a few rows deeper than what I was hoping we were going to be now, as Brandon Jones stayed out at the end of stage 2. So he is in control of this restart, not Kyle Busch. So stage 3 is going to get underway with Brandon Jones on a lot older tires leading the way. So everybody's going to have to be careful here. Make sure they can manage to get their way around this Menards number 96 2311 Toyota Camry without any issues. 2311 kind of struggling other than Brandon Jones this season. Bubba Wallace has been okay. Ty Gibbs has had his ups and downs, the rookie. He's been okay, then he's had moments where he's not been okay. And then Brandon Jones actually been the strongest driver so far, but the last couple of races, Brandon Jones has not been going in the right direction. As you can see right now, he's not going in the right direction either here as we continue down this run straightaway right there behind that 31 of Jay Cook in that Colleague Racing number 31 Taco Bell Chevrolet Camaro. As we head down into turn 1, we slam into the back of the 31 of Cook, who just slams on the brakes into turn 1 for no reason whatsoever. Not sure what in the world Jay Cook was trying to do right there. I was not happy about that, obviously doing damage to my front bumper. I run right into the side of him, and now the tempers start to boil. He just brake tested me, dude. I don't know what he's doing. There you hear my side of the radio, but as well, we have communications coming in from the 31 of Jay Cook as well.
He's a idiot is what he is. Guy has been running into me since we were teammates in the Xfinity series. Now I guess he's still jealous that I got the Colleague Cup right over him.
Well then, tempers kind of flaring here from Kansas Speedway as we would continue on. Cook not happy, I'm not happy, Chase Elliott not happy at the end of stage 2. Everybody's unhappy at this point. A lot of angry drivers over the radio now as we would continue to try and at least march our way forward, but I was kind of struggling here. Now as you can see, Kyle Busch has actually lost the lead. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell in the 19, all 3 Joe Gibbs Racing cars here in the top 3 right now. As you guys know, there is only 3 Joe Gibbs Racing cars currently in this series as they downgraded to a 3-car team at the end of the pandemic and whatnot due to financial stability and whatnot here, as you continue to see that 11 of Hamlin trying to now run away from Kyle Busch, as well as Brad Keselowski. I myself was having a bit of a battle now with the 3 of Austin Dillon, and I was running about 15th place and I couldn't do much better with 22 laps to go. I kind of got stuck here. I couldn't close in on Aric Almirola, but I was able to at least hold off currently for the time being the cars behind. But I knew, you could see Austin Dillon, he was starting to put some pressure on me, and everybody was starting to put some pressure on me. David Shodos, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson all running behind us, but we would at least hold our own here in about 15th place here for a while now to lap, or 18 laps to go. Kyle Busch would actually retake the lead, by the way, over Denny Hamlin, so he marches his way back to the front. He's dominated this race so far here in Kansas Speedway and looks to continue to do that. Now to 16 to go. Shodos closing in on me now as we head down this front straightaway. Keselowski, though, he's down on the apron and slow. Keselowski, the 2012 Cup Series champion, is going to pull over and I believe stop on the track. I'm assuming he's got damage. I was expecting a caution. There's a caution. Caution is out in the closing 15 laps of this race, which presents potential for a lot of chaos here. Now, as you can see, James Davison, Keselowski, they come together into the outside while Keselowski goes. He's had a rough season, as you guys remember, in Atlanta Motor Speedway earlier in the season, up and over into the catch fence just about Brad Keselowski went. You can see who would pit and who would stay out, and it was kind of a mixed bag, but a lot of cars towards the back did come in. I stayed out, so I regretted that a lot very, very quick here. Now, I knew immediately when I looked in my mirror that I should have pitted, so unfortunately, we have made a mistake, and it might cost us some track position, especially towards the end of this race, when all those cars that just pitted for fresh tires are able to get rolling here, because it's only a 12-lap sprint to the end of this race, and that's enough time for those 4 fresh tires to make a difference. Kyle Busch back in control of this race. He's been so strong. Logano, the point leader, up here in the mix alongside Denny Hamlin, James Davison, Christopher Bell, the 13 of Sheldon Creed. His paint scheme would not load for this race, unfortunately, there for the Richard Childress rookie now. And Sheldon Creed, he might be a rookie at Richard Childress's 3rd car expansion, but he has been the strongest Richard Childress driver so far this season. Reddick and Austin Dillon, they've had their fair share of struggles so far. As you can see in the background, 3 wide I am with Almirola and David Schildhouse. No complaints from David Schildhouse over the radio today, and hopefully it stays that way as we head down into turn 1. We get past the 10 of Almirola, we get past the 8 of Tyler Reddick here and hold our own, but we do lose the spot to that number 20 advanced GG Chevrolet Camaro for Rick Ware Racing with 10 laps remaining in this race. Time running out, the sun has set here now, and you can see up ahead Kyle Busch actually has lost the lead. Denny Hamlin has gone to the front, and Kyle Busch was now 3 wide and falling. Kyle Busch falls towards the bottom of the top 5 and outside of the top 5 here in these closing laps. So what has happened to Kyle Busch all of a sudden, who's dominated this race? Well, he fell completely out of the picture for the race win. And talking about falling out of the picture, well, myself, I was dropping like a rock. Blaney, Custer, Elliott, they're all going to go to the inside. Chase Elliott having a nice little rebound right here now. As you can see, Jeff Fabiano up the inside. 3 wide we were on the outside with just 5 laps remaining in this race, and I just had absolutely nothing left here. As I went down into turn 1, I was starting to run the outside. That was the only time I was really able to get this power down and get the car to rotate, because if I tried to run the inside, I really was going nowhere. So I had to be forced to run the outside in 1 and 2, which is where I prefer to be, but with the AI, I just could never find speed earlier in the race on the outside. You saw Blaney and Elliott actually come together there in front of us now as we come through to 2 laps to go on the inside of Harrison Burton. Contact on his left rear, we both save it. Suarez nearly gets into the back of me as well, and it looks like we're going to be hanging on for dear life to even get a top 20 finish in these closing moments here from Kansas Speedway. Kyle Busch, he had fallen late in this race, to now Denny Hamlin, who's up there battling for the lead on this final lap with James Davison, the Daytona 500 Rick Ware Racing winner, and that has proven it's not a fluke, because Davison's in the top 5 in points battling for the win, but Hamlin has taken the lead on this final lap here. Logano trying to follow through and get 2nd place, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen into 3 and 4 for the final time. Denny Hamlin, he's had a subpar season so far, but here he comes out of turn 4, and for the first time this season, Denny Hamlin will become the 2nd Joe Gibbs Racing driver to get a win over Joey Logano. James Davison, your top 3, as you can see. Sheldon Creed, Custer up there in the top 5 as well. You got Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace with some great finishes, and myself. Well, overall, a very disappointing finish here in Kansas Speedway now, as we would actually end up P21. So, not the final few laps we were looking for. If I could take anything back, of course, I would have come to the pit lane there under that final caution there, as I didn't think it was going to make as much of a difference as it did, but obviously I was wrong. So, before we end the episode, here is a quick look at the points. Joey Logano now has a 16-point lead over James Davison, Kyle Busch 3rd, Larson 4th, Suarez, Bell, Jones, Cozy, Cindric, and Creed the rest of the top 10. Elliott fades outside of the top 10 as we are P13 in the standings. Schildhouse there down in 16th place, but we have some work to do. But the next 2 episodes are road course races. We go to the New Hampshire road course, and then we head to the first street circuit in the NASCAR Cup Series at Long Beach in the following episode. So a very exciting time coming ahead for this series, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.